Dana White cancels UFC fight. Hey, what's up everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today let's get started with Israel Adesanya inspires unlikely fan after Israel Adesanya defeated longtime rival Alex Pereira at UFC 287. The Last Airbender delivered a passionate post-fight octagon interview for the ages, telling viewers that he hoped one day they can all feel the joy he felt in that moment. Backstage after the fight, the good vibes continued to flow, as Adesanya and Pereira shook hands and spoke with the middleweight champion, saying that he would love to learn how the former two-division Glory kickboxing champion throws his signature calf kicks. At the time, it seemed as though the feud between the two was finally over and done with. However, since then, the feud has been reignited. During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, comedian Bert Kreischer, also known as The Machine, revealed to the longtime UFC commentator that after sitting and speaking with Adesanya for quite some time, he couldn't help but feel inspired by Adesanya's outlook on life and the way he approaches celebrating the good moments in life. Recently, UFC President Dana White teased a major announcement regarding the last Avengers' next fight, which many believe could be a clash of champions with Jamal Hill at UFC 293 in Sydney, as many have speculated the UFC could be working to set up a trilogy fight between Adesanya and Pereira at light heavyweight, given the announcement of Pereira fighting Jamba Urbach at UFC 291 in Salt Lake City, Utah. Sean O'Malley's coach admits feeling bad for Aljamain Sterling after Alji claimed Sterling's UFC 288 win over Henderson Hutto. The bantamweight champion quickly found themselves involved in a heated face-to-face down with #1 contender Sugar Sean O'Malley, who the UFC quickly whisked into the octagon to promote their inevitable title fight. Shortly after, during the post-fight press conference, UFC President Dana White was asked when the fight would potentially take place. White stated that the bout would likely take place in Boston. In the wake of the event, it was announced that the Boston card referenced by White would take place in August, meaning the Funkmaster was in for a rather quick turnaround. Although the fight had been verbally agreed upon and announced by the UFC, Sterling's coach Ray Longo revealed that to his knowledge, no contracts had been signed. In addition, Sterling was quick to point out that he needs to make sure his body is 100% ready before signing on the dotted line. That created quite a bit of controversy, with Dana White then suggesting if the champ wasn't ready to fight, the UFC would create an interim title and have O'Malley compete against Triple C, and Risa Kudo would have been campaigning for the fight. Despite what many believe to be uncertainty surrounding the fight, Sterling was quick to fire back, saying that he would in fact be competing at UFC 292. The way Sugar Sean's coach Tim Welsh sees things, the situation is an unfortunate one for the champ. However, at the end of the day, he trusts the UFC's decision-making. During a recent episode of the MMA Hour, he weighed in on the situation, saying, "I mean, it does kind of suck. Bro, Joe just happened to get pushed and they're not really getting to say." Welsh has managed to keep himself out of the crossfire as O'Malley and Sterling trade verbal blows, giving the Funkmaster credit and calling him the most dangerous champ in the history of the 135-pound division. With the highly anticipated card on the horizon at the end of the summer, there has been much debate about whether the short turnaround for the champ will negatively impact Sterling heading into the fight, considering he has to cut quite a bit of weight in order to make the 135-pound title limit. It'll be interesting to see how things play out when the two men step into the octagon, when the two collide at UFC 292. How do you see things playing out? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up to date with MMA news every day. Here are the top comments from yesterday's video. Hams out saying Paulo beat nobody is hilarious. UFC cross promoting Francis sounds like Conor apologizing to compete for everything he had said on camera. Besides, it's just a business, of course. Dana needs to do what Bellator did with Rising UFC versus PFL, Jones versus and God, who would mean a lot for the fans to see that super fight. And those were the top comments from yesterday's video. If you want to be featured on our next video, make sure to leave a comment and don't forget to check out yesterday's video in case you missed it.